This
here?
conference will now be recorded.
Do we have all of our board members? I see Jenny, I see Jeff. That's all I see. I only see very. Ken, I talked to
here. Mark is here, I think.
Mark Harrington is here.
Yep, I see Mark. It doesn't say the last name on it. Oh, and there's
I
Ken.
see.
Okay.
I see Ken.
And
okay,
Bill
how about
McBride
Bill
is calling one.
Okay, so Bill's on the phone?
Yep, he's calling
I'm
one.
on the phone.
Okay. Okay, so we have all of our board members here, correct? Okay,
Correct.
so I'm going to make a call that the meeting starts today, which is March 8th, 2021, call to order.
Hey, Lisa, it's Jeff. I don't think we've confirmed that that's our Mark or that he's connected.
Who is? Bill?
Well, we haven't actually heard from Mark.
It's because he's muted.
No, but he didn't ever acknowledge he was around.
Is that there now? Am I there?
Yep, we hear you.
Okay. Good.
Okay. All right, great. So we have everybody here. Correct?
Yep.
Okay. Marina, you want to read why we're doing Zoom meeting according to?
Sure. The Historical Preservation Board is holding this regular meeting today, March 8th, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. due to public health and safety concerns related to COVID-19. The Village of Pittsford HPB will not be meeting in person in accordance with the governor's executive orders. The March 8th HPB meeting will be held via video conferencing, and a transcript will be provided at a later date. The public will have an opportunity to see and hear the meeting live and provide comments, the link to which is available on our website, villageofpittsford.com.
Okay, great. Thank you, Marina. Could I ask everybody to please mute themselves unless you're talking? I think it would be easier for everybody to hear us that way. And I am going to ask if anybody needs to recuse themselves for any application that's being presented to us or before us tonight. Is there anybody who needs to recuse themselves? Ken Morrow?
No.
Ginny Cyril?
No.
Bill McBride?
Yes, I need to recuse myself from 4 Courtney Circle. The applicant is my daughter.
Oh, okay. And then Mark Harrington?
No conflicts.
Okay. All right. So if everybody would just mute themselves, we'll begin. And obviously, when you are ready to talk, you please unmute. Everybody should have received the board decision motion form. Ginny was so kind to do it last week. Does anybody want to volunteer to do our motions? I'm sorry, Marina, did you have something? You have to
finish opening the meeting officially.
Okay.
So we need a second for your call to order and then a vote.
I second.
Oh. Okay. So do you want to read the roll call then, Marina? We just got a second from Ginny.
Ginny seconds. Okay. Then Chairperson Cove.
Yes.
Board Member Searle.
Yes.
Member Morrow.
Yes.
Member Harrington.
Yes.
And Member McBride.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Great. So actually, you know what I think we should do is we don't have to have one person do the motion. Whoever wants to make a motion, everyone should have the form. Just please follow this format when you're making a motion. It's all really nicely spelled out for you. I made a bunch of copies so I can write on mine, so it makes it easier. But if you're going to make a motion tonight, please use this format. Okay? So let's begin. Do we have the applicant for 7 Shane Place at Simply Crepes?
Yes, you do.
Okay. And who is the person here talking for Simply Crepes?
My name is Justin Zimniak, and I work at Vital Signs in Webster.
Okay, Justin. To make this probably pretty easy and clear, my understanding is that there's 2 signs currently up in the same exact place you want to put the new signs. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So the only thing we're doing is we're changing, obviously, the shape of the sign from more oval to round, and then
Correct.
the sign itself, but the placement is exactly the same.
That's right.
Okay.
They are doing some, they're doing some rebranding, so that's why they're making this change.
Okay. Is there anything you want to say? I mean, it seems pretty self-explanatory. You've got a nice diagram here. You've got a nice layout with specifics. Does anybody have any questions for Justin?
No, it looks, this is Bill McBride, it looks like it's the exact same location as the previous sign. It's a round sign versus oval, but it takes up roughly the same space. And it's a different design. Both signs are a different design. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Ken, do you have any problems or any questions? You have to unmute yourself, Ken. Ken, you have to unmute. We can't hear you, Ken. You have to unmute yourself.
I'm okay with it.
Okay. Great. How about Mark Harrington?
Oh, yeah, terrific.
Okay. Ginny? Okay. You have to unmute, but I can tell, I can read your lips. Bill McBride?
Yes, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Does anybody want to volunteer to make a motion? It's a really easy one.
Yep.
Who wants to try it?
Jenny was muted.
Ginny, you're
was
unmuted.
I move, I'll make the motion. At a meeting of the HPB on March 8th, 2021, the following motion was made by me. The purpose submitted the application for 2 signs made by the owner of Simply Crepes. Marina, you'll fill in the name, please. For the property located at 7 Shane Place. No conditions. Findings of fact in this case are that the signs comply with the guidelines, the Village of Pittsford design guidelines, and represent no negative impact to the property, and they are reversible.
Do we have a second?
I will second. Lisa Cove?
That's strange.
All right. Chairperson Cove?
Yes.
Okay. Member Searle?
Yes.
Member McBride?
Yes.
Member Harrington?
Yes.
And Member Morrow?
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, Simply Crepes, your motion carries. Go right ahead and make your sign change. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate
Sure.
it.
Okay. Moving on to 4 Courtney Circle. Do we have the applicant with us?
Hi, yes, this is Maggie Neary.
Okay. Bill McBride is recusing himself, as we've already stated. So would you like to give us a little explanation of your project?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My husband and I are hoping to get approval to do an addition onto the rear of our home. It's a family room addition and a kitchen bump out. And we would also like to request the addition of an egress window on the side of our house. I believe it's the west side. And then finally, we would like to update the columns on our front portico as shown in the drawings that we attached.
Maggie, this is Jenny. I'm glad that you're adding an egress window to the basement. That's always a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody
Needed.
spends much time in the basement,
Right, agreed.
it's a real plus for safety.
Yeah, and we actually got approval from the board a few years ago to do that egress window. We just never did it. And we thought if they were going to come out and dig some foundations for the family room, we might as well do it now.
Right. Maggie, I have a question. The addition is slab on grade, is that right?
There's a crawl space.
Oh, crawl space, okay.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. I was gonna ask you, not that it is a concern of ours, but if it was a slab on grade, you've got some good south facing windows. You'd have some good thermal mass for some solar gain.
Mm-hmm.
But that won't work with a crawl space.
Let me just clarify, from public way, really the only thing we're seeing is that bump out from the side. We can't see the whole window span along the back, is that correct?
That's correct. And I don't know if you have the pictures that we included. There are some probably 25-foot arborvitae along the side of the home between our neighbor's yard that block most of the view, and they're not going anywhere.
Okay. But really, we're just gonna see a bit of a bump out that's off the back. If you're standing at the front of the house and looking right at it, we're gonna see just a bit of a bump out. The rest of it's gonna be alongside the back. Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Does anybody have any questions for the applicant? Ken?
No.
Ken, I think you have to unmute. Ken, you have to unmute.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Mark Harrington,
Yes.
you don't have any questions?
No, no questions.
Okay. Ginny?
I have a question about the windows on the rear. The south side, after I made the suggestion that if if it was slab on grade, you could get some solar gain. I was looking at the size of the windows. Are those double hung windows? Are they casement windows? Are they?
They're going to be double hung.
Double hung, so those are cottage.
Yep.
The proportion of the upper section to the lower section seems a little small to me. I'm sitting here in my house with cottage windows and
Yeah, and I have to tell you, these were preliminary drawings. We have since talked to our Marvin rep, and I think what I'd like to do is match the dimensions of the windows that you see on the side, and then have 3 transoms above those. So the height that you see will still be the same, but the head height of the lower window will match the 80-inch head height of every other window on the house.
and there are no other paired windows on your house, I don't believe. Is that correct?
No, no.
Okay. I think it would have a more cohesive and a little more appropriate appearance to have the lower section of the glazing area be the same as the other windows on that elevation, or on other sides of that room with transoms.
With the muntins?
Pardon me?
With the muntins?
Yeah, muttons would be fine with me. Will the transoms have muttons as well? Or will they
Yes.
be plain? Okay,
I think I like them with transom muntins.
okay. Would you like to clarify that change so that you don't have to come back again with a change to the application?
Would that be required considering it's on the rear elevation?
Yes.
Okay.
So yes, because it's not included in our application. So Ginny, I think I would ask if you would make the motion. So could you jot down if we approve it with the conditions with the window change? So if you could
Sure.
right now
Sure, I
clarify
can do
that.
Yeah, I can do that when the time comes. I don't know if we're ready.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any questions either. Bill McBride has recused himself, so I think all of us, Ginny, unless you have some other concerns.
No. Let me just verify. I know I've looked at this closely, but I don't have my near vision glasses on. and I can't read what the drawings say. The shingles will match the house as well as the siding.
Yes, yes,
Just want to get that
Yeah,
on the record.
yeah, same profile, same exact shingle.
Okay,
Are you all accepting of the portico changes that we want to make? We had included a front elevation alternate porch detail on the last page of the drawings of the plans. It's dated February 18th, 2021. It's got a slight ellipse
Right.
at the top of the pet court. This is our preference.
I'm also okay with that. Most of the homes on that street that have any sort of front porch or cover at the front door have very slender, unembellished posts, just wood
Yeah.
posts. And I
Yeah.
think that adding the embellishment is an enhancement and appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
I agree.
Are we ready now?
Yes, I think I am.
At a meeting of the HPB on March 8th, 2021, the following motion was made by me to approve with the following condition, approve the addition with the following condition. It's made by me. The address is 4 Courtney Circle, Marina. I'm sorry. The condition is that the 3 window grouping on the rear south elevation of the home will have the width and height shown on the drawing. Correct, Maggie? The lower section of and they will be 3 double hung windows with 3 transoms above each of them. The double hung window will be the same size, Maggie, as the two windows on the right side or west elevation. Are you doing the same thing on the left side, the east elevation? Will those windows be the same?
So the windows that you see on the rear elevation are actually a little bit lower. Their sill height will be a little bit lower than what you're seeing on the side elevation, than what you can see from the street. And the windows on the opposite elevation, if I'm making any sense, will match the 2 that you can see from the street. So the larger windows will be on the rear elevation.
Okay, I'm wondering about the left side elevation on drawing A2. I thought those windows appeared in 2 locations and then I didn't see them.
Yes, they do. What I would like to do is, I think that with the roof line of the existing house, I think having a 3-pack of windows there is probably too much. I'd like to cut that down to a 2-pack, a set of windows, and have them centered on that left elevation of the bump out.
And will they be the same windows with double hung below and transoms above?
No, they will match the windows on the opposite side, bordering the fireplace. So the largest window will be the one on the gable end.
Okay, got it. Okay, so Marina, I'm sorry. I got started on this and now I have to change. Here are the conditions. The 3 windows on the left side elevation, rather than what's shown on drawing A2, will be the same height and width and configuration and operation as the windows shown on the right side elevation on sheet A2.
Okay.
The windows on the rear elevation shown on sheet A3 will be the height and width shown, with the exception that rather than cottage style windows, the lower section will be double hung windows with muntins as proposed in the application, and fixed transit windows above, again with muntin configurations shown on the drawing. Is that correct, Maggie? Is that clear with you, Lisa? Okay. For findings of fact, this is a post-war home. Oh, okay, we have, sorry, I was thinking about the front, we've already addressed that. This is a post-war modern construction for the village of Pittsford. The addition is proposed meets the standards in the village of Pittsford design guidelines. It's compatible with the existing house and the surrounding houses in the neighborhood, and presents no negative impact on the historic resource.
All right, we need a
I'm done.
second.
I second Lisa Cove.
All right, Chairperson Cove,
Yes.
Member McBride.
He's
Not
abstained.
voting.
He's
Oh, I'm
abstained.
sorry, Member Searle,
Yes.
Member Morrow,
Yes.
and I think that's everyone. Motion passes.
No, it's Harrington.
Mine
Oh,
as
I'm
well.
sorry, and Member Harrington. Didn't mean to forget you there.
Thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
motion carries.
Motion carries. Thank you very much. Good luck. It's going to be beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Do we have the applicant for 22 Boughton, please, for the pergola pavilion?
Yes,
Okay, and who am I speaking to?
Kevin Mulcahy, Mulcahy's Landscape and Design.
Do we have the applicant as well, or no?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay. I've already spoke to Steve about this application, where we really don't have any materials. So, the posts are wood, is that correct?
Yeah, I
I
sent
sent an
that over this
email.
afternoon, and so basically it's an all wood construction. There's not going to be any bar island, no fireplace. It's just going to be 2 pillars supporting the roof structure off the back of the garage. All the roof structure will match the existing garage that's there. And then just, the posts will be trimmed out in either a cedar or something else. We haven't quite decided it yet, but whatever the character of the home is now, it will match that.
When you say trimmed out, you mean,
Just so you don't see a 6x6 post or a 4x4 post, you just put like a 1x6 covering that just to dress it up, to put trim at the bottom and top and stuff, just so you're not seeing a pressure treated post, basically.
You're going to wrap the posts?
Yes, exactly.
What size what's the dimension? Oh, sorry, 6x6. I see that. And the material you're going to wrap the posts with is cedar?
It's either going to be a cedar or it's going to be that new like Aztec. It depends if they go white or cedar. I think they're leaning towards the cedar just to match. So we don't want it to stick out. We want it to be kind of flowing with everything else. So if you start adding white pillars, it just starts standing out. You have a white fence there also. So, we want to make this its own thing.
so, but there's a big difference between wood and Aztec. So you've got to make a decision. What are you presenting to us today?
Well, it'll be all wood. I don't foresee them doing the Aztec. So just stick with the wood and we'll just make it an all wood structure on that. Then
Okay.
we won't have any confusion on it then.
And the shingles, the roof shingles are the same shingles that are in the house? Same color, same style?
Everything will match. Whatever the existing is with that structure, this will match.
And the roof pitch will match as well to the pitch of the house, the back of the house?
It'll be the back of the garage.
Yeah, it
Okay.
should match,
Yeah.
should match the garage.
That's
Right,
right.
Is the pergola connected to the house?
It is connected to the back of it,
Garage.
the garage, and then comes out to the 2 posts. Yes.
Okay.
But it is not connected to the house, that's correct, right?
Yeah.
Right.
This garage is separate from the house. So yeah.
The roof framing will be exposed,
Tongue and groove underneath
applied to
the bottom of the.
the roof framing, or
Yeah.
is it ceiling? Will it
No,
be a
it'll be-
ceiling or under the roof framing?
It'll be on the roof framing.
Okay,
So it'll follow a contour going up. At some point, you'll have the cross braces and then it'll come up, go flat across and then come back down.
Okay.
but there'll be,
And
it won't be exposed.
What will the eave and rake trim be, and what will the eave look like? Will
It's
it be a
gonna-
plumb cut? Will it be a
It's
perpendicular?
gonna match whatever the existing on that garage is. It's gonna be the same color, I think it's tan or white, tan, or, I'm not sure. Whatever the trim is,
Well-
it's gonna follow that same roof line of the garage. However the eave is, it's just gonna be an extension, probably 8 inches lower than the roof, maybe 10, but then it's gonna be exact same as what the garage is. It'll look just like that.
And the posts go all the way down to the ground?
Yeah, and they go in over 42 inches into the ground, secured into the ground, yes.
And do you have a patio you're putting in? Like, are these pavers part of the project?
Yes, there'll be pavers all underneath that as well.
Are they concrete or stone?
It's a manufactured paver. It's concrete, but it looks like stone. So it's
Right,
it's not
right,
it's not a poured concrete slab, but yes.
No, I understand the difference.
Right.
They're concrete pavers.
So it's
Yes,
not
they are.
stamped concrete.
It is not. It is not a solid surface. It's a permeable, meant for water to go through, dissipate, all that. Yes.
What color?
They have picked pebble taupe in a dawn
That's
mist
sort of
border.
a light brownish color?
Yeah, it's a natural, so it varies, it can vary a little bit, but yes.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
But it's not gray,
No,
it's not black.
no,
Dark
like a
brown,
brownish,
light brown.
tannish mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there any questions from you, Ken Morrow? Ken, you have to unmute yourself. I'm sorry.
I think just one of my comments is that if it can, nicely fit in the limited space available, it'd be a good thing.
I will say that when I went to visit the site, I was distracted because I did not have my packet with me. So I didn't have the instrument survey map. I mistakenly thought that the line of the fence, which I assume is there to keep the dog in the yard, which is great. I assumed that was the property line. The edge of the garage and the fence was the property line. That is not the case. So initially I was concerned about lot coverage, but I do not believe that's a concern any longer because that's not the end of the lot.
Yeah, that goes over quite a bit.
Garage. Yep.
And
They are-
I know it doesn't matter, but future is, we're gonna be adding some light landscaping there too to try to soften the look also, but I know that's really not included on it, so.
Yeah, that's fine.
They are just under the lot coverage with this addition.
Okay. As I said, Steve, I was just concerned because I did not have the instrument survey map with me, and fences in yards most often run along the property line, but in this case, it does not.
Bill McBride, do you have any comments or questions for the applicant?
Yeah, I have one question. The photos that you show of the concrete slab or the slabs have walls, several walls. You're not proposing any kind of concrete or stone walls around this, are you?
No, those are supposed to be X'd out of it. It's just to do those 3D designs, to take them back out is quite a bit of work. But yeah, there's no more bar islands in there. There's no more fireplace against the wall. None of that's in it. They just want a nice open space that flows.
Okay, got it.
Mark Harrington, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I think it's going to look very nice, actually.
Does anybody want to make the motion?
I'll volunteer to make it unless someone else wants to.
Okay, Ginny?
Jenny, you've done a great job on the last one. So try this one.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing for other people on the board to make motions, by the way. At a meeting of the HPB on March 8th, 2021, the following motion was made by Virginia Searle for the property at 22 Boughton Avenue. The application is approved as submitted. I make the motion that the application be approved as submitted with the following clarifications. The roof shingles will match the existing roof shingles on the garage and the house. The roof structure of the pergola will not be exposed. There will be tongue and groove wood ceiling finish that will follow the slope up to the collar ties and then be horizontal across the line of the collar ties. The rake and eave details will match the existing roof and eave details of the garage exactly. The 6x6 posts will be wrapped with cedar, and the floor, if you will, of the pergola will be paved with a taupe concrete paver.
I second that. Oh, did you finish, Ginny?
Yes. I was just going to say that I'm specifically making the clarification that the details of the rake and eave will match the garage, not the house, because this pergola is attached to the garage, not the house.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay.
I second that. Lisa Cove?
Okay, do you want to do your findings of fact, Member
Oh,
Searle?
Sure. Now, this is an older structure. The pergola is attached to an accessory building, the garage. It is removable. No character defining features of the garage will be removed. It is in keeping with the design guidelines of the Village of Pittsford and represents no negative impact to the historic resource.
That's where I second. Lisa Cove.
Okay. Then Chairperson Cove, how do you vote? Okay, Member McBride?
Yes.
Okay, Member Morrow?
Yes.
Okay, Member Harrington?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and Member Searle?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
Great, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, so do we have the application or the applicant here for 57 South Main Street, the porch conversion?
Yes, you do. I'm here.
And can you please tell us your name?
Paul Morbido. I'm the architect that is representing the owner and the designer architect, Emanuela Frattini Magnuson.
And who is the owner here as well?
I don't see the owner's name up here, so I believe I'll be representing the project.
Okay, I was really hoping the owner would be here because I think that this is a little bit more involved. Is the owner, so the owner's obviously purchased the house. Is he on site yet? Has he moved in?
No, they're not moving in until July.
Are they from New York?
I think that they are from New York, yes, because the architect that they hired to do all the design work is out of New York City, and that's someone that they've used in the past. So I'm just kind of the hands and mouth for the area because I'm here.
Okay. Okay, so
I don't know how much of a presentation you want. I mean, I think everyone's probably looked at it. It's trying to convert a screen porch that's in a bit of disrepair. The floors are sinking, sloping. and they'd like to turn it into interior space. So will it look like it did? Exactly, no, because it doesn't have screens, it doesn't have railing. But will it match the house? Yes. Well, we're trying to do everything, every exterior finish to match what's there. Stucco, wood windows, spaced and sized in a way that ties into what's there, and really just try to make it. I stretched the footprint slightly because if it's going to be rebuilt, the 12'10" is a little bit. It's a tough number to furnish, but generally speaking, it's visually you wouldn't be able to tell the difference size-wise once it was rebuilt. And other than that, I think that's pretty much where we're at with it. So one way or the other, it either needs to be jacked up. We got to shore up the foundation because it's kind of sunk over the years. So they got to do something to it to get it back up to not deteriorating. But again, with having to spend some money on it, they're looking for a little more interior space because as big as the house is, and on paper it's like, wow, this is plenty big. Why are we adding more space? It's chopped up. The rooms are, there's fireplaces in the middle separating things out. So I get it. They would want to have a little bit of a bigger space to, actually have like a family type of room. So with that said, what are your thoughts?
It's Bill McBride. I have a question. I'm not clear about you. Are you saying the footprint is going to change a little bit?
The footprint right now is 12'10" by 21'4", and I'm suggesting to go to 14, which adds 1'2", which gives it that little bit of leeway to get furniture set up, by 22. So it's only 8 more inches, and that was just for ease of construction. But I mean, we could certainly make it the exact footprint, but I thought since it was being rebuilt, a little bit more would actually help because it gets to be long and narrow at 12'10", especially for like you're gonna build this family room and you're gonna net an interior dimension of 11'10". So I just thought, so yes, a little bit bigger.
Okay, and as I look at the proposal, it looks like you're duplicating the windows that currently exist on the house. Is that right?
Yes, the idea was they're slightly bigger because the ones that are on the house that are in the sunroom, they're 20-inch units. So we went with the 24-inch just to get a little more glass, but Babes, really wanted that same look. Ideally to tie it all together, have a look like it was, the addition was that to begin with. That's the idea.
Steve, this is Jeff Turner. I have a question. How visible is this going to be from Main Street?
It is visible from Main Street. I was there this afternoon. If you're parked,
Okay.
If you are on Main Street, and I parked in the vicinity of St. Louis Church toward the north side of that property. The porch as it exists now is clearly visible.
Okay, that was my question.
I have serious problems with this application. The porch is a highly unique and clearly a character-defining feature of this home. The home was built about 1820. What we see there now is a renovation from 1925. That's when the stucco exterior was added, and the sun porch, this is the sun porch, and there's a sleeping porch somewhere that was added. I did not see it on the photographs, and bathrooms were added at that time in 1925. The guidelines, design guidelines for the Village of Pittsford addresses porches, historic porches. That's on page 65 of the design guidelines if you want to look at that, Mr. Morabito, or if any of the other board members want to look at this. Porches in general in the Village of Pittsford, and I'm going to quote now from our design guidelines, have refined proportions, great deal of craftsmanship and precise carpentry, which enhance the visual characteristics of the home. It is distinctively detailed and unique, and particularly the existing columns, as well as the primary columns, as well as the intermediate columns in the railing system. What you are presenting has no distinctive features, and while it does match the existing house, the intent of our guidelines and also the Secretary of the Interior standards for rehabilitation call for, let me pull out let's see. The Secretary of the Interior's standards for rehabilitation, to which this application does not conform, are guideline number 2, the historic character of the property will be retained and preserved. The removal of distinctive materials or alteration of features, spaces, and spatial relationships that characterize a property will be avoided. Number 4, changes to a property that have acquired historic significance in their own right will be retained and preserved. And that addresses the fact that this porch was added in 1925. Guideline number 5, distinctive materials, features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship in particular, and the distinctive features of the existing porch that characterize the property will be preserved. Number 9, new additions, exterior alterations, and related new construction will not destroy historic materials, features, and spatial relationships that characterize the property. All new work will be differentiated from the old and will be compatible with the historic materials, feature, size, scale, and proportion, and massing to protect the integrity of the property and its environment. Number 10, new additions and adjacent related new construction will be undertaken in such a manner that if removed in the future, the essential form and integrity of the historic property and its environment will be unimpaired. So Marina, you should have a copy of the standards, so you can add those to the minutes.
Yep, I can quote that.
Okay. Also, it appears that the piers on the porch are cobblestone, coursed cobblestone. I would suggest that the owner reconsider this and leave the porch intact, but build a structure within the porch so that the porch is retained. And there, I know of several examples where that sort of construction has been used successfully. This application does not meet our guidelines for decision making. It does not meet the guidelines in our design standards, nor does it meet the Secretary of the Interior's standards for rehabilitation.
Hi, this is Lisa
So
Coates.
Jenny, I have a question for you. Yeah, if you said that retaining the materials and the design exactly as it is, but putting an interior in it, you mean
Yes.
windows so that it could be inside, so that it could be enclosed?
Well, I would think
Would that be
yes, I would think that the entire construction would be essentially glass. Enclosing porches on historic structures, if that happens, is it's fairly common to enclose them in glass. I don't know, Mr. Morabito, if you were ever familiar with the toy store in Fairport that's used to be right on Church Street. The business left, the building was sold, and the porch treatment that was in place there is now lost. But that space, in the space below the railings, there was solid frame construction, insulated frame construction, and above that, there was insulated glass. And I think that it's entirely possible to do that same sort of construction within the space that's already there, regardless of furniture arrangement. They bought a house in an historic district with requirements that the historic character be maintained. And I think it's our duty as the board to see that that happens. That's my opinion.
Fair enough.
This is Lisa Cove. Ginny, that was very thorough, very well said, and I agree 100%. Ken Morrow,
It's
do you
Bill
have any
McBride. I agree with that too. Yeah.
Ken Morrow, do you have any comments?
I agree with Jenny.
I think
Mark
it's really-
Harrington?
Well, I think it's really interesting putting the glass on the inside of the porch. And I think it's a very nice solution to what the conundrum is. So I like it personally.
Paul Morbido, what
Yes.
are your thoughts about what we're saying? What do you think? What are you going to tell your client?
Well, again, I'm just kind of the hands and mouth for the designer and the owners, but I will relay everything. I like the idea of building a wall inside of that railing, insulating that glass above. Still looks like a porch, functions as interior space. That sounds cool. They could also consider building in and having it essentially work out to be an 8-foot wraparound porch where we kind of take some of that space that's in the porch and add it to the house, but leave the porch a porch. Not sure my opinion was asked on that, but now I can relay and maybe throw 2 cents in.
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like we're gonna table this, and you can go back to your client. You can also come back. You can tell the client that you can come back for an information only session if you've got some other ideas that you want to throw out to the board. We'd be happy to talk about some of those ideas and what we think about them. It wouldn't be a formal application, but we'd be interested in an information only session if you're interested in that as well.
I'm sure they would be. Does the board meet every month or every 2 weeks?
Every month.
Every month.
I would suggest that very strongly because it's not, clients get upset when when they spend money for designs and then the designs are turned down. So it's all, in my opinion, it's always better to have an informational meeting. If there are any concerns, to hash them out in an informational meeting, and then you can proceed with further schematic design or revised schematic design. You certainly don't want to get into working construction documents and specifications until you have an approved design.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
All
you
right.
want to table this application or deny it as submitted?
Table it.
I
Well,
don't care, but we need a motion.
Oh, hold on. It's the applicant's choice whether or not this is to be voted on or whether or not we're going to hold it open.
okay, Paul, what would you like to do?
I think it's less paperwork if we hold it open.
Okay.
We don't have to refill applications, so why don't we just leave it open? And I think that they want to move quickly. They're trying to get finished with a full interior renovation, moved in by July. So this is nothing that, if any, feet will be dragged on. So we'll be talking, and then I'll be back in touch, and we'll try to keep moving.
All right, so I'd like to make a motion.
Do you think we've given you clear position and direction on what we
100%.
would accept?
100%. I completely get it.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Um,
So then
well-
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion to table the porch conversion application for 57 South Main Street. Do I have a second?
I'll second Bill McBride.
Marina,
I
you
was
want-
going to ask, does the board want to set the info only session date now, or would you like to set?
no, the owner needs to talk and they'll discuss that when they want to come back to us. They'll call
Okay.
the office.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Then I will call roll call. Chairperson Cove.
Yes.
Okay, member McBride.
Yes.
Okay, member Morrow.
Yes, and I'd like to pass along to Mr. Morabito that I think his client has one of the nicer houses in the village.
Absolutely.
I agree. It is very nice.
Yeah.
Okay, Member Harrington?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, and Member Searle?
Yes.
All right, motion carries.
Right, thank you,
Thanks,
Paul,
everybody.
for your time. We look forward to hearing back from you guys.
Thank you. You too. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
sure. Okay, we have one more application for 7 to 10 Shane Place, a pavilion. Who's here to talk about that tonight?
I'm the owner and the applicant, Jennifer Collins, and
Yes. Hi, Jennifer.
hi, and also the architect Dan Pope is online and available as needed.
Okay. So we're glad to see you back. You know that we have already talked to you a little bit about your proposition, and we had some discussion in regards to the pavilion project. And now you're here for a formal application, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
All right. So I just did talk to the building inspector today and talked to him about that we have no materials listing in our packet that was given to us, but I guess there was something that was sent to the village, but we never got it. Is that correct, Marino?
I sent everybody an email this afternoon with the other drawing with the material on it.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah, I found that.
Okay. All right. Just to clarify, it wasn't in the original packet. It was sent out this afternoon. Okay. So with that said, do we have any, or do you want to do a presentation to us, Jennifer? I mean, you've got a very nice packet here. It seems pretty self-explanatory to me, but if there's anything you'd like to say before we ask for comment from the board, please go ahead and do that.
Just that, as you are well aware, we were speaking with you back in January for information purposes. In the interim, the project has, excuse me, received planning and zoning board approval. There were a couple of variances that needed to occur and so on and so forth. Those have all brought us to move forward to this meeting. It is a basic wood structure that is as close a replica to the existing Erie Canal Park Pavilion that is already on Shane Place. And yes, there's a photo of the existing one in case anyone isn't familiar, and then the schematic for what we're proposing. And I guess that's really all that needs to be said at this point, unless there's specific questions.
So
Jennifer, is there any difference? Is there any changes from what we reviewed last month for information only in the design of this?
No, all of the, with one small exception that I can think of, but either Steve or Dan can correct me if I'm wrong. Any changes that have been made in the interim were related to landscape and the sorts of things that the Planning and Zoning Board needed to review. We did add some lighting at the building inspector's request on one corner to be sure that the handicapped spaces were adequately lit. Other than that, I believe it's the same.
This is Lisa Cove. Can you just tell me what the flooring is?
It is stamped concrete.
It's stamped concrete.
What will the stamp pattern be?
What we had suggested is a brick basket weave.
Will it be colored at all, or will it be gray?
The intent is to be as close to the existing paver's color as we can, which is sort of a tan gray. It's pretty faded out. So that's our intent, is to make it as close as we possibly can.
My experience with colored concrete is that it's pretty difficult to get a good color. So I recognize that you might want to match the pavers that are there, but I guess I would just caution you to get a sample, go see a sample and an installed sample, whoever the contractor is, if they can show you an installed sample so that you get what you think you're getting.
I appreciate that caution. We're using someone that we have used a number of times in the past, so I feel very comfortable asking him for that kind of sample. Thank you.
Another question I had is the cupola functional or simply decorative? It doesn't provide ventilation under the space.
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? Because I'm not understanding it.
A cupola, the intent of a cupola is to provide ventilation. And typically the sidewalls of the cupola would be slatted or something like that, slatted like a shutter is, so that the warm air rises and is exhausted out. So cupolas are mainly seen on barns. Sometimes on Italianate houses, they have cupolas, but they're a wholly other style and appearance from a farm or industrial building's cupola. I don't object.
Can I ask the applicant, why are you not making it a functional cupola? I mean, don't you want the ventilation under there? It sits out in the parking lot with a lot of sun in the middle of the summer. Wouldn't you want it to be ventilated?
Jenny, would you like me to answer that?
Sure. I mean, the primary consideration has been to be identical to what is existing there, but certainly, Dan, if there's something to add to that, please do.
So your motivation is the design, consistency of design, not functionality.
Well, the village pavilion does not have a cupola. At least the photo that's included in here does not have a cupola.
There's another cupola pavilion up the way near the bridge.
Closer towards the other end of the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't object to it necessarily, and I'm with Lisa. I know it's open air. You'd think that there would be plenty of ventilation there, and walking and riding on the canal, I know very well that the Bernoulli effect means that there's generally a breeze on the canal. But I also think that on a still hot day in summer, even in the shade there, it could be pretty hot, and maybe you could get some air moving simply by having it functional.
This is Lisa.
One way or the other.
This is Lisa. Will you guys be continually having the fire pits under that cupola as they are now?
No, fire pits will not be under, they'll be outside.
Under the structure itself, are you going to have misters for the sun? I mean, for the summer because of the heat?
Huh?
Misters, no, that was not the intent.
Okay.
Jennifer, is there a reason you wouldn't want that as a functional cupola?
I haven't quite frankly thought about it before now. This is the first time it's been brought to our attention. It wasn't mentioned in January when we spoke, but a spontaneous reaction, I'm not opposed to it. I guess
It's not, I just wanted to talk to you about the functionality fact. I mean, it's not a big thing for us, but it would be for the function or the use of it. And it might be more pleasant for people that are sitting under it to have a little bit more airflow. But I mean, that's your decision. You can do it or not do it.
I have no objection to it either way. Doesn't matter to me. I was just asking a question.
Yes,
well, then thank you again. That's certainly something we'll consider.
You may want to keep the heat in September and October.
Yeah.
September, are you kidding? It's 82 degrees in September.
Okay.
Well, it's in the shade. There won't be a lot of heat, but good
Okay.
luck.
Well, I guess the question is does she have to decide that now? Or can
No,
we?
that's not a purview of this board. That has nothing to do with this board. It's a personal decision for them.
Yeah.
Well, the look would be different though, correct?
No,
The
no.
aesthetics, Steve, are our purview.
Yes,
And it
that,
will
the-
look
The
different if there are
aesthetic,
louvers in it.
the aesthetics of how they vented would not change the look of that, really. So it's,
Yes, it would. In
I
my
thought it
opinion,
looked like louvers. I thought it would look like louvers on the side. Is that correct?
it would look like louvers.
no, it would just be a ridge vent.
If they put a ridge vent, it would be a ridge vent. If they put in louvers, it would look like louvers, Steve.
Correct. But if they just want to do a basic ridge vent, it would just be a flat ridge vent on the top of the cupola. Very, very indiscernible from a regular cap, ridge cap versus a vented ridge cap on that cupola. The only difference is about an inch.
I don't know if I can be heard, but I've lost all sound.
We hear you, Jenny.
We can hear you.
Yeah, it would make a difference of basically an inch on the height of the ridge cap. That is all. Unless they decide to do louvers, then it would be a different design. But I don't believe they would spend the money to do a louvered system versus just a simple ridge cap to allow venting of the heat out the top of the cupola.
Well, what we were discussing was louvers.
No, you were discussing venting, not a certain style of venting. You were just purely discussing venting.
We talked about louvers, Steve. Okay, never mind.
Okay. So, all right, so does the applicant want us to approve or to approve or disapprove the way it's submitted without any kind of ventilation system? Is that what the
Wait a minute here. Jeff Turner, we need your opinion on our authority here.
Your authority, they've made an application.
Right.
If it's an acceptable application to the board, that's the question. You know, whether or not they want to add louvers. If they wanted to change it later and come back with louvers, they'd need another approval. So you have an application before you, and I would suggest that, you know, it sounds like that's what the applicant wants. I think we lost Ms. Collins, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. So I think her son is part of this call, but it would seem to me that you've got an application. If it's acceptable in that regard, you ought to vote on it.
I
Okay.
agree.
All right, so does somebody want to volunteer to make the motion? Ken or Mark or Bill, anyone?
I will make a motion.
Okay, Ginny.
At a meeting of the HPB on March 8th, 2021, the following motion was made by Virginia Searle for the property located at 7 to 10 Shane Place. I make a motion to approve the application as submitted.
I second, Lisa. Marina,
It's
do you
been
want to?
seconded. How do we vote?
Okay, Member Cove, or Chairperson Cove?
Yes.
Okay, Member McBride?
Yes.
Member Morrow?
Yes.
Member Harrington?
Yes, thank you.
And Member Searle?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'll just add a couple of findings of fact. This is new construction and is compatible with the existing village-owned pavilion, very close nearby.
Okay, great. Thank you, Jennifer and Dan, the architect.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing it go up soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
A nice
Thank you.
addition. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, so we have one more motion we've got to do. We've got to approve the minutes from 2/8/21. Has everybody had a chance to take a look at those minutes that do come in your packet a week ago when Marina does send us our packet? So does anybody need time to look at those minutes from 2/8? Okay, so I'm going to make a motion. Is that okay?
Fine
make
with
a-
me.
I make a motion to approve the HPB minutes from 2/8/21. Do I have a second?
I'll
Second,
second.
Second.
Oh, man.
Good
Who got
choice.
there first?
Can we have roll call, please, Marina?
Okay, Chairperson Cove.
Yes.
Okay, Member McBride,
Yes.
Member Morrow,
Yes,
Member Harrington,
yes, thank you.
and Member Searle.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Great.
All right,
I just want to make a statement. I just want to say thank you, Jeff Pollock, for sitting in again on your second meeting. Jeff is waiting patiently to come and join us on the HPB board. And we're just kind of waiting for logistics. Mayor Corby needs to get through a significant election here, so we're kind of holding tight until the election on March something, 12th or something. Okay.
I'd like to have a discussion about something.
Okay.
All right, I had a call, and this is the second one I've had a call. This one's in regard to 44 Lincoln. They've come in and wanted to come in tonight, but they called today for information only. I didn't want to try and throw them in for information only at the last minute. But what they're looking at, I gave them all the names for the window people. All right, they reached out to every one of them. Only one of them got back to them. The gentleman that got back to him came back with a price of over $50,000, and it would be 14 to 15 months before he could touch their house. All right,
boy.
that's for to keep the wood windows.
Steve, can you tell us who that person was?
I think it was a Steve Pollock, if not, I'm not mistaken. It was the last one on the list, whoever the fourth one is, or Verdun, or
Steve Swyatt?
it was whoever the fourth one was on the list, Jenny.
I don't have that list, so I don't know who that is.
Right, and I don't either.
Yeah, well, I know she contacted all of them. She contacted everyone. Only one person got back to her off the list. That person said it was $50-something thousand to repair the existing windows or to redo them all, screens and all that stuff. They're very frustrated. I understand that because their windows whistle right now. She said when it was cold and that wind was blowing, they can't even stay in their rooms. So what they wanted to ask a question, how we as a village look at Fibrex windows, the Anderson Renewal, which are a wood composite, fiber wood composite window. And I don't know how that plays out in the historic preservation.
I know, I'm gonna just start out here. I know the person who lived in that house that they bought it from. Those windows are in serviceable condition and can easily be repaired. In my opinion, I would never consider replacement of those historic wood windows. They need to look for someone else. I will see if I can find some other names. But replacing those windows, taking out those historic wood windows, they've been there for nearly 100 years. And just because they whistle, that probably means there may be putty, glazing compound missing on the outside. There may not be any weather stripping. I worked with the daughter of the woman who owned that house. Those windows are fully operational.
Well, I mean.
Hey, Steve, question. Did the guy who did the work on the Mason house look at those windows?
The guy who did the work on the Mason house rebuilt every window in the Mason house, Bill.
Okay, but he didn't charge.
That does not mean
Did he
that
look at these
doesn't know
windows?
to repair the existing windows.
Whoever they had came in and their suggestion was to that the condition of whoever that person that we recommended to him came in the home and recommended remaking the sashes because he didn't feel like the sashes that were there were repairable enough to fix and make those windows whole. They also had half the storm.
They need a second opinion and I will get you a name.
That's fine if we can get other names for them, but we need to give people viable options if we're going to force them into keeping those windows. We have to find a way to make it reasonable for them.
What was the number of windows that they were looking at?
The whole house.
Which was how many windows?
It's got it. Wouldn't you say 30,
20.
30 windows or so, Jenny, at least?
Yeah.
I'm not sure 30, but easily 20. There are a lot of windows in the house, but there's nothing wrong with those windows.
Yeah.
They are absolutely repairable. And what they don't understand is that when you put in replacement windows, they're called replacement windows for a reason. And they will be setting up replacement of those windows every 25 years at most. And they will not save money enough to pay for those new windows. It never happens that way. The cost of replacement windows cannot be paid for in energy savings. It takes somewhere between 75 and 200 years, depending on the windows.
So Steve, I do understand your frustration. I understand the applicant's frustration, and we will work hard to try to get them a second opinion, but I agree with Ginny, we need a second opinion. Because if that's not the case, then we can have everybody walk in and say, oh yeah, we don't hear from anybody, and one person said it's $50,000. We're not gonna.
Hey, Steve, I'm gonna get you the name of the guy who repaired the wood windows on the Mason house, and let's make sure we get him over there.
Yeah, for some reason, Bill, I think the gentleman they talked to was that same person. But get me the name.
Really?
And I'll...
Really?
That person's first name is not Steve. That person's name is not Steve.
No, but I'm not quite sure on the name, Jenny. I apologize for that, but I do know whoever they got was the one person, and I do believe it was the guy from there, and that's why they were so expensive. I know that the wood windows on the Mason house cost like $1,800 a piece. So I know that it's a very expensive process because he didn't repair the windows, he rebuilt every sash.
Correct.
Isn't this carpentry work that we're talking about? Really?
Yes, it's carpentry work. You need a good finished carpenter. You need someone who knows windows and is a good finished carpenter. It's not difficult work. There just are not many people who are doing it now. And in fact, there's a new program down at Geneseo where traditional trades are being taught, and it's sponsored by the Landmark Society of Western New York and SUNY Geneseo. I'll look into that.
Yeah, I was going to say they should know people that do this. I mean, I'm sure they bring people in to teach.
Well, one of my very good friends who wrote the Window Sash Bible has been doing window repair for years, but he's an older guy and he's not with large windows like there are in that house. He's not really able physically to do it anymore. He's had some health issues, but also he does not want to be in a home, working on a home where people absolutely do not want to have their windows repaired. They have decided already that what they want are new replacement windows. It makes for a very unpleasant work situation for him, and he won't do it. And his name should not be on the list. There are two names on the list that you may have, Steve Jordan and Steve Swyatt, and neither one should be on that list.
Okay.
Can I make some comments? First of all, I don't have that list. And I think that each and every one of us as board members need to have the list that we are giving to applicants. That's number one. Number two is probably remember Ginny is trying to get us together so that we can talk specifically about window replacement and window repair and that whole thing. And we've been trying to do that. However, again, Mayor Corby also is going to be a part of this. We'd like him to be anyways. And he has been tied up. So we are going to do that. And I think, Steve, it will give you a lot more ammunition or a lot more to give to the applicants as soon as we get ourselves together. So we do know that is something that needs to be done for everyone. So we will work on that. Ginny, if you can give Steve another second opinion, because I agree, I think we need a second opinion, and then we can move forward with what we do after that. Okay?
That's fine. As long as we can give people some options and give them somebody who is, you know, I mean, like Jenny says, unfortunately, the younger generation now has not come up to do work like this. You don't have real carpenters very much anymore. And like she said, it's tedious work. It's not the glamour, you know, go out and a big show work. This is tedious, exacting work, and there aren't many that
Well,
do
yeah.
that.
It's craftsman. It's a craft. It's definitely a craft. Okay. Do we have anybody else that would like to make any more statements tonight before I end the meeting? Yes, Jim?
No, but I'll say, I think Ginny has done a wonderful job tonight in
Absolutely.
in making the motions and summarizing. Very good, Ginny.
Thank you, Jenny.
Y'all need to step up because it looks real bad when only one person is making motions. I would like to let people know or remind you if you know this already. May is Historic Preservation Month nationwide, and given the reputation of the HPB, I think that it would be worth our time to try to come up with some sort of promotional activity or information or standing on corners and talking to people on the street about preservation, being at some historic homes and learn some information about the houses, who lived there, what style it is. You know, maybe the village used to have walking tour, a map with a walking tour.
Whoa, wait a minute. There, Bob Corby does walking tours constantly, and if you noticed, Lisa has a section in each of the local publications about the actions and authorities of the HPB. So there is something happening in that area.
I think that's great, but there's publicity in Rochester and Monroe County around Preservation Month, and I think that considering the status historically and visually of our village, that it would behoove us to try to improve our applicant relations by providing some education, which is also part of the charge of the board, is to provide education to the public. I
do like that idea. Marina, did you have a comment? Marina?
Yes, I'm reading a comment by Miss Peggy Brzee in the chat. She said that Historic Pittsford may be able to help with this.
Great.
Okay. So Peggy and I have been talking a lot the last week or so. So I will work with Peggy, and I really like that idea, Ginny. We could do something in May in regards to historic preservation. I really like that idea. I'll work with Peggy and see what we can come up with. If anybody has any comments or suggestions, send them over to me.
We used to do an award. We used to do awards.
I know, I heard. We used to give awards for the best.
Yeah, that's right. You know, we did some awards 3 or 4 years ago. We need to do that again. Okay. And my suggestion is that we give an award to the guy who rebuilt the Mason House.
Yeah, maybe that would be a great way to do a promotional. Yeah, I like that idea too. Okay, so again, if you think about anything else, I'm going to work with Historic Pittsford, and I do love that idea, Bill, and maybe the Mason House should be our kickoff award winner. And we'll and I like the idea of doing it in May as our first one to honor historic.
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, we had a ceremony previously, and we made a big deal of it, and it's a perfect example of somebody who should get an award.
Okay, and I think what would also be great, because this is me personally, I've been dying to meet the new owners of the Mason House, and I think that they would probably be really excited to be involved as well.
Even though they cut down the trees?
Yeah, but they did I was upset, but did you see the landscape project? They've really done a great job.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
Yeah, so, okay, thank you. That's great, Ginny. I love that idea. Thank you for bringing that up, and I will work on that, and I'll send you guys all an email and give you some information on where I am with that, okay?
Lisa, I may have more time than you do because I'm retired and you're not. So if you want some help with that, let me know.
I would love it. Okay. I'll include you, Ginny, in the talks.
Okay.
Okay.
I just want to say, I'm gonna want to promote SWWR,
What?
What?
Steve's Wood Window Repairs.
Listen, Steve, that might be your next job. I think that might be something that could be pretty lucrative. Okay, thank you guys all for your time. If there's nothing else to say, have a wonderful evening. Yes, Mark?
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned.
At the last meeting that we had, I mentioned that it seemed to me that some of the disconnect that's coming between new residents or people that are applicants is that they're probably not engaging as deep as Jenny does on this, or as deep as you do, Lisa, because you guys have been around that for a long time. So what I've suggested, and I ran it by Rob as well, and I think I sent a memo out to all of you on it directly from myself, because I didn't want it to rise to that level of being a business matter per se. But I think if the board would like, I'll give a stab at trying to take what the legalese is in terms of windows, doors, other things that we think are key, that have gotten some applicants off center because they never knew what direction to go in. So I'd like to, it's up to you guys. If you'd like, I'll try to get that ready for next month. And if you don't see any value in it, that's
Mark, they used to have, I had thought at one point that the village issued like a welcome packet to
that's
new
what
homeowners.
yeah. But it's
Yes, we did.
So wait, hold on a
And
minute. Wait, hold on a minute, guys, because Marina and I just went through this. So I did do a cover letter that was supposed to be attached to each and every HPB application. But I had found out just recently by Marina that it was not being handed out with the packet. It was supposed to be the cover letter on the packet. I think this month was the first month that the cover letter was included with each and every packet that the applicant got. And on that cover letter, and maybe Marina can send it out to us all, does talk about our role. It talks about, you know, being sympathetic to the applicants, and it gives a little bit of some history about historic preservation. So Marina, if you could just send that out to everybody so that they see what the applicant gets now, that would be great. Okay,
Yeah,
Mark?
Typically, they don't get a packet sent, they pull everything offline, their application offline, so somehow it has to be attached to
Right, we just did. We just attached it to the actual application. It wasn't attached before. We just found that out this month.
Okay.
Do you do anything, or did you used to do anything like this with respect to new residents that are just moving in before they're moving in?
Like a welcome wagon kind of thing? No, because that's not just historic preservation. That's really the whole village. You know, a welcome kind of packet would be to help people understand zoning and planning, to help people understand the village government and the three aspects of government. So it's not really the HPB's sole responsibility to do that. We would be a part of that. That's why I put that cover letter together so that we can kind of represent what we do. But I do like the idea that we should do something with everybody. Yeah.
If you did a welcome packet and included a HPB or a little history, you know, information sheet to let people know, here's what here's the village, why we appreciate what it is, and here's the things that you need to be mindful of if you wish to make a change to your home.
Right. Yeah. So again, that cover letter does say that. So why don't you wait until Marina sends it to all of you, take a look at it, and then let me know what you think. Okay.
Now, do you have a copy of the old welcome packet we can look at?
I'll find one, Mark. I know Bob had one. I have one somewhere. I know one showed up. I'll see if I can dig it up.
Okay, thank you.
I'll tell you, it was very good when we moved in here 20 some years ago. We got that. Plus, as Ginny can tell you, you had an opportunity to get a free analysis of your historic house by Barrow.
Yes.
In fact, I'm the one in the office who's doing those now. I don't work there anymore, but in order to continue the program, I've been doing it, but I can't do it for village homes. Someone else in the office will be picking that up for village properties.
Yeah.
But it's an hour. It's an hour for an on-site consultation and then 2 hours for a brief letter report. But you have to have ordinarily, it's a specific request, you know, like, I want to replace all my windows. How do I do that? And then you find out that you're not going to replace them. You're going to have to repair them.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've done, just this fall, I was out at a house on Mendon Road to look at an old smokehouse. The property is designated by the town of Pittsford, and the town Architectural and Preservation Board, the building is falling down. The board didn't want them to let it fall down and take it down. So I was asked to make a comment on it. My comment was, this building isn't going to stand up very much longer. And if the town wants to keep it, they'll have to rebuild it and how to rebuild it and that sort of stuff. But it's a service that's free to the homeowner.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
And Ms. Prezee added in chat that it is through Historic Pittsford, just to
Yes,
clarify.
it's through Historic Pittsford, and the homeowners need to make that request to Historic Pittsford, but they should, new people who move to the community should be made aware of it.
Yep.
Okay, somebody gonna make a motion to adjourn?
I think Lisa was, she's muted.
Yes, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn our meeting for tonight. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thanks, everybody. Have a
Aye.
great.
Okay, thanks, folks.
Good night,
Good
all.
night. All right, good night.